know it's a little strange posting this video near the end of 2021, and you might be thinking, what the heck? But the thing I love about quarterly planning is that you can literally start it at 4 different points throughout the year. When I started quarterly planning, it was in October of 2020. I knew that I wanted to publish my book in 2021. Shameless plug. And I thought implementing it early and experimenting with it would set me up for greater success in the new year, rather than jumping headfirst into it on January 1st and not really knowing what I was doing. Not that there's anything wrong with that. No matter when you're watching this and implementing quarterly planning for the first time, it is probably the best time for you. Even if it's in the middle or right at the end of a quarter. You can take control of your life any damn day, week, or month of the year. You don't need to wait for anyone or anything to start prioritizing yourself and your dreams. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Catherine. I'm a multi-genre indie author, passionate about writing responsible representation and diversity in romantic fiction. I'm also a homeschooling toddler mama, and I'm obsessed with intentional living and true wellness, beyond bubble baths and face masks. Here on this channel, we talk writing craft, positive productivity, and the 4 pillars of health: mind, body, soul, and spirit. My hope for this channel is to inspire you to love and care for yourself the way you deserve, so you may show up fully for the people you love, your chosen crafts, and hopefully make the world a better place. I'm gonna leave this video here, obviously on YouTube, as well as its companion video, so that you can revisit them both again and again, whenever you're needing guidance to plan and organize your thoughts. But that's not all. Over the course of 2021 and my experiment with quarterly planning, I started making this. I don't really know if we should call it a guide or a workbook or what, but I created it for us as a helper. So let's call it a helper. If this is your first time quarterly planning, you're going to need a few things. Obviously, you're going to need the workbook slash guide slash helper, whatever we want to call it. The link for the free download is below in the description. You can print it off as I have here, or as I got a friend to do for me because my printer's broken. Or you can simply just read it on your computer, use a notebook, or even read it off of your phone and use a notebook, or read it off of your phone and put the answers into a notes app on your phone. Especially if you're a perfectionist like me, you might be overwhelmed at looking at the pages and thinking that, well, if you print it, you don't want to ruin it or mess it up. Even though that's not possible, because the point of this is to get all your thoughts out onto the paper. But I personally understand that you might want to start with putting your notes onto a different piece of paper and then maybe transferring them a little bit neater onto these nice pages. It is totally up to you how you use this. The next thing you're gonna need is something or some things to write with. I like a couple different colored pens if possible. Some people love highlighters and they like to make all their brain dump notes in one pen color and then go back in with a highlighter. Personally, I like brain dump into categories, so I don't need the highlighter to then categorize my brain dump because I'm type 1, so even my brain dumps are organized. And then of course you're going to need a calendar, whether that's digital on your phone or you use a paper planner or a wall calendar, whatever works for you. And something that's really important that you might forget is to sit down and figure out all of the upcoming birthdays, anniversaries, holidays, events, outings, coffee dates, all of the stuff that you know is coming up, but it's just kind of written on sticky notes, or you're trying to remember it in your head, or you made a note of it here. Take all of that information and compile it into one stack so that you can then put it onto your calendar and keep track throughout your quarter of where you're needed, so that you're not putting too many tasks in a month where maybe you're not even going to be in the country, for example. I know 3 months sounds like a lot of time. I know that 12 weeks sounds like a lot of time, but it's really, really not. It goes fast. And I feel like as I get older, the years seem to go faster. It's already almost October of 2021. I do not understand how that is possible. Literally. Anyway, final 3 things you're going to need are an open mind, a patient heart, and a determined soul, because quarterly planning is not for the faint of heart, especially your first time around. Step 1, you're going to open your book. You're going to see the calendar for 2022. As I stated earlier in the video, this workbook is meant to carry you into the next year, to keep track. So these will be obviously your 4 quarters for the next year. My pages are messed up. Okay. This is the end of quarter review kind of worksheet, but then you're also going to get this end of quarter review blank page. So this is to be used, or it can be used at the beginning of your quarter when you're setting up the new month, but also at the end to review it as you're going into the next month. So when you're printing your next quarter, you'll get another 2 of these, but technically it's for the last quarter because you're reviewing where you've come from. Hopefully that makes sense. Even if you haven't done quarterly planning before, it's really nice to just check in with yourself and think about the last 3 months of your life. Right here at the top it says, how do you feel on a scale of 1 to 10? And it's split up into 6 really important categories. I love this because it helps me get really in tune with my body and my mind and my soul and my spirit and all that jazz, so that when I'm going into the new quarter, I really get that time to just center and figure out what's missing and what's needed and celebrate the things that I've done well. Then at the bottom here are some journal prompts, which is what this piece of paper is for. And then there is this little list here on the side. I created this mostly for myself. All of these things I'm going to cover in future videos in the, well, I want to say in the new year because I don't know if I'll be able to get to it all before the new year, but it is all pretty simple stuff as well. Just as a heads up, I'm putting up a companion video to this one where you get to watch me physically fill out these papers, and you can follow along with me, or you can just leave it kind of as background music and feel like you're not doing it alone if you're getting overwhelmed. So for the most part, all of these papers are already filled out because I've been filming that companion video for you. But at the same time, I wanted to make sure I got this filmed, so I haven't completely finished my quarterly planning for the quarter. So like this up here, you're gonna see is empty, but obviously this is already done. So once your quarter review of, or the previous 3 months review, or if you're genuinely starting and you've never done any kind of planning whatsoever, just kind of do a generic for the whole year. So then step 2 is a brain dump. In your workbook / helper, you're going to get these 2 pieces of paper. Obviously I have writing on it, but it is just a blank piece of paper. And again, I've written on the fronts and the back. And then you're also going to get this brain dump trigger list. There's more on mine than there is on yours because I have a friends and family section that has like my friends and family's names in it. I have a section for my husband and I have a section for my child. And then I have a section for my 3 businesses, which is my wellness group, my author platform, and then of course YouTube. So when you get your brain dump list, I've left the headers, but I've left space here for you to put your own people in and your own careers / passions into. So the purpose of this brain dump trigger list is that when you are making your brain dump for all of the things that you can just think up off the top of your head, sometimes when people ask us questions like that, our minds can go blank and you have no idea. You don't remember that a month ago your husband told you you needed new tires until someone says, hey, does anything need to be done with the car? So there's all these categories here to just kind of help you remember the important things. Step number 3 is roles, related goals, and your vision. So for roles, you're going to write down all of the major roles that you play in your life. For me, I'm a wife, a mother, a friend, and an author, YouTuber, wellness guide. So you're going to want to take some time and think about what you do well, what needs improving, and what your main goals are for that category. And then if anything comes to mind, or if you want to transfer anything from your brain dump over here that's like a really major big goal or a focus or an intention, then you have space to do that here. And then below that is a section for your vision. When you picture the next 90 days, what are you picturing? What do you see? How do you want to feel? How do you want to make other people feel? At the end of those 90 days, on the final day of the quarter, what do you want to have accomplished? And that's what you put here. The next page, which is also a continuation of that, of these 10 important categories, how do you feel on a scale of 1 to 10? Now you might have already answered this in the review if you did the review section, so you can just transfer those numbers over here. But this is a section here where you can put down tasks but here is a section where you can write down tasks or actionable goals that you can follow through with to either rise your number if it's lower than you hoped, or stabilize it so it doesn't drop any lower. And then step 4 is this page here where it's just I wouldn't call them really journal prompts, it's more of a self-check. So you're gonna ask yourself, how will a successful quarter improve your life? This is another way to say, these are my whys. Like, why do you want to achieve all of the things that you just put on these other 2 pages? Like, How would your life improve if you paid off your debt, for example? How would your life improve if you and your spouse went to counseling or therapy? How would your life improve, and why is it important to you? I'm sure this isn't the first time you've heard this, but when you know the why behind the things you want to do, you're able to better prioritize them, or maybe even take them off the list. You'll ask yourself why, and then you'll be like, oh, that's actually not that important. Or you'll ask yourself why, and you'll be like, holy crap, that's really important. It's more important than blah, blah, blah. I should prioritize that even more. And it's easier too when you know your why, so when you feel yourself falling off the wagon, which is really easy, obviously, especially if you're just getting into this or just restarting this, your why will pull you back to reality. And as much as we all love fantasy, me included, reality is needed sometimes. So the next question is, are any of these tasks better suited for a later quarter? Or while I was doing my brain dump, did I think of anything that needs to be done in future quarters? Because I find that sometimes I'm thinking and I'm like, oh, this is important. And then I'm like, wait, it can wait till next time, or this definitely needs to be done next time. So it's important to keep track of that as well, so that when you're doing next quarter, you can check this section out and be like, oh yeah, I need to do that. That needs to be over here. And then you're gonna ask yourself, can I delegate anything to anyone else? Because it is not your job to do everything. Next question is, what do I need to stay happy, healthy, and inspired this quarter? What props or materials will I need, and what do I need to learn or research? Because sometimes you want to, say, learn a new language. Well, you're gonna need to download a language app, or get a language program, or get a book or something like that. So not every goal can just be miraculously, can happen. Sometimes you need to do research first. Sometimes you need tools and materials. So that's a section there where you can kind of brainstorm that. And then for step 5, you're gonna need this paper. I'm not sure how well you can see that on screen here, but hopefully you've got your guide downloaded so you can kind of follow along with me. So this says, this quarter's goals. Assign your goals and tasks to the month you're confident is best suited for them. So there's 3 lines here. You can put whatever month it is. So if you're following along with me in current present time, it'll be October, November, December. If you're coming back from a future month, it's your current / next 3 months. And then there's 3 columns here. So what you can do is, if you have 3 big goals for each month, you can put it here, and then all of your tasks, all of your goals, all of your intentions, your values, your priorities, everything is going to get categorized into the months, so that you have better focus of, you're not feeling like you need to do everything this month, or you're not like, oh, I'll get it done next week, or I'll get it done next week, and then finally it's like the final 2 weeks of the 3rd month in your quarter, and you're scrambling to get all these things done because you thought you had so much time. So splitting your tasks and your goals and your intentions and your values and your blah, 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 your vision into these 3-month categories will really help you see if A, you have too much on your plate, B, if you have room for more, or C, if you need to move stuff around. And then step number 6 is your action list, where you take the big goals, the complicated goals, the tasks that have a lot of little tasks inside them, and you write them out here, and then you figure out what all of the things, what all of the little tasks that you need to do to accomplish the bigger tasks and the big goals are, so that you're not like, oh, I want to publish a book in 6 months. Well, all I have to do is write it and upload it to Amazon. There's so much more to it than that. So you need to research all of the things that you need to do to accomplish the things. You know. Okay. And then for step number 7, you're going to transfer your deadlines and your milestones and your broken down action list. You're going to take all of that information and you're going to put it on your calendar, whether you put it on the digital calendar or a physical calendar. It needs to be somewhere that you're going to see it every day, or that you can check into consistently, hopefully every day, if not weekly at the very least, and make sure that you're staying on your targets, or that if something happens, because life is life, if the last 1.5 years has taught us anything, we can't really plan for everything, so that you're able to be flexible with your plans and redistribute the things that you need to get done, whether it's to the next month or the next quarter or even beyond that. What I'm currently using are these quarterly planners here. I got them from Michael's last year. So this will be my October, November, and December one. That's where I will be putting all of my tasks into once I'm done with my helper, worksheet, workbook, guide, planner thingy. And I really enjoyed these, kind of. I don't know. I haven't really found planner peace yet. I was really excited about them, and I'm thankful that I had them this year, because this year was absolutely insane with releasing my book and starting my author platform and all that jazz. But one of the things that is on my Q4 list, so quarter 4 list, is that I want to make my own planner for myself. And like I released this workbook, guide, helper thing to you, I want to release those planner pages to you. And maybe they'll be great for you. I hope so. So my goal is to have that done for December, like the beginning of December, so you can print it off and get it all organized. But we'll see how my quarter goes. Step number 8 is to go on your phone and create any digital reminders you may need. So one of my things is that I've wanted to learn French for years, but I'm always like, I'll do it tomorrow, I'll do it tomorrow, I'll do it tomorrow. So then set any digital reminders you might need, whether it be daily, weekly, monthly, or if you have specific milestones or deadlines or a timeline you need to stay on top of. And it's a good way for your phone, which is most likely in your hand far more than you want to admit, to be like, hey, get your priorities in order. What are you supposed to be doing right now? Kind of a thing. And then step number 9 is to inform the important people in your life, especially the people who will be affected by this, your spouse, your children, your close friends, etc., what your priorities are and what your goals are moving forward for the next quarter. Maybe they can offer help. Maybe they can offer to take something off your plate that you didn't think of. It's helpful when the people closest to you know what you're going through or what you're going to be going through, whether it be positive or negative, so they can be there to cheer you on or support you. And then step number 10, which is the final step. This is my 5th time doing quarterly planning, and I'm just now kind of getting into a rhythm with it, which is why I've released this workbook helper guide thing. And I'm still exhausted. I'm only half done, and I'm filming this video and I'm utterly exhausted. But if this last year and a quarter of experimenting has taught me anything, is that this stuff works. Obviously, you're the one that has to put in the work. You're the one that has to show up for yourself every day or every other day, or no, every day, because even rest is showing up for yourself. Maybe even rest is especially showing up for yourself. Oh, and make sure that you put rejuvenation and self-care into your task goals. Like, make sure that you are a priority going into the next quarter. You have to make sure that you're taking care of yourself. This might only register for other parents who are watching this, but I read a quote the other day that said, why would you not prioritize self-care for the most important person in your child's life? And that just kind of like hit me right here. Like, I do matter. Like, obviously my daughter matters immensely to me. She's my world. But if she matters so much and I matter to her so much that she needs me so much, then why can I not figure out that taking care of myself is just as important as taking care of her, because I'm the most important person in her life. You know what I mean? Like, does that make sense? Hopefully that makes sense. So, I want to wish you good luck with your planning. You're going to do fantastic. It's going to take a few hours, I would say, if not a couple of days. So, get started now. Don't feel pressured to get it done before the 1st of October or the 1st of whatever month you're going into. Take your time and enjoy it. It's a bit of an awakening, and sometimes when we reprioritize things, it sucks a little bit. It just does, but it's always worth it. And I can promise you that I probably would not have had the success that I've had with my book so far without it. Speaking of my book, shameless plug number 2. If you have not yet purchased a copy of Let It Rain, it is available in paperback, hardcover, and ebook. I am raising the price of my book within the next couple of months here, not because I want to, but because I need to. Distribution, the costs of distribution and printing in the publishing world are going up. So authors, as indie authors, we already make pennies. So if you want to get my book in its 1st edition before I update it to 2nd edition, if you want to get a 1st edition and you want to get it at like a tiny bit of a lower price, make sure you get that in and help me reach an awesome sales milestone before the end of the year. I'd really appreciate it. And you know, It doesn't make a bad Christmas present either. It's sparkly, it's shiny, it would look good under a tree. You know what I mean? Okay, that's enough from me. Make sure that you check out the companion video where you're planning along with me if you need to feel like I'm right there sitting beside you helping you out. And as always, my DMs and my email inbox are always open. You can find the information to contact me below in the description if you don't already have a personal link to me. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you aren't already, please subscribe, hit the like button so I know that this content is good for you. I am manifesting to get this channel monetized in 2022, so it'd be really helpful to me if you could support this channel. I'll be back next week with another fun video. And until then, be safe and stay creative.